On today's episode, we're joined by Gabe Franco, 29 years old and living proof that passion and hustle go hand in hand. He's been obsessed with cars, bikes, and fabrication since high school, and by the time he graduated, he was already wrenching full-time as a mechanic. But in November 2017, everything changed. He broke his back and neck in a Harley crash, stuck in bed for 6 months. He couldn't ride, couldn't work, couldn't do much but watch fabrication videos and learn the craft. As soon as he was cleared for physical therapy, he threw on a neck brace and started welding from his garage, pushing through the pain for as long as he could each day before crawling back to bed. By April 2018, he kicked off the project that would put him on the map, a 77 C10 drift truck build that went viral across the globe. After 18 months of long days and longer nights, he finished it on October 2019, and the rest is history. Now Gabe runs his own fabrication shop and works long hours helping others bring their dream builds to life. This one's raw, real, and inspiring. Let's get into it with Gabe Franco. Yeah, it's opposite like the toilet in Australia.
I think that's going the Aussie way. Right?
It's actually a real thing.
The toilet swirls the other way.
It does clockwise.
Cockwise.
Cockwise.
Ooh.
Makes sense.
You're gonna have to bring the mic closer to your face.
Is this close enough for you?
That's amazing.
How much closer?
So just like have it to the side of your mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. You can hear yourself?
I can hear myself.
Perfect. You want to say this, Joey?
Yeah.
Should we get going?
Yeah, it's going. It's recording.
7 a.m. Friday the 13th. We
Yeah,
got
we
Gabe
got
Franco in the studio.
We got a nice and early one. Thanks everyone for showing up. I did send a text this morning, so I was like, I wonder if
6
everyone's up. I was just like, because I could definitely go back to bed for a couple hours.
I was hoping nobody replied. I was like, I'm down for a half hour.
Dude.
Sick. Welcome on. I'm glad you come on. I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, dude. Long travels to get here.
Yeah.
Good old 15-minute drive.
So San Diego, home for you? Always been home for you?
Yeah. East County. Basically lived in Lemon Grove until I was in like middle school, high school, and I moved out to El Cajon. And then traveled back and forth from there.
Yeah, gangster. How did all you boys meet?
I met Gabe through Joey. These two have gone kind of like way back on since a little grown.
BMX bikes.
Yeah.
BMX.
Yeah.
Dirt jumps, skate parks, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever rode street too much.
No, that's kind of why we didn't ride together as much as we would have. But when I think of you, I think of that small skate park over in La Mesa.
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas. And pretty much every single time I went to Dallas, Gabe was just there. Like that was like part of going to that skate park. It was like, oh, I'll probably run into Franco.
Gabe was furniture there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Are you still riding the same BMX bike?
Yeah, still the same clapped
Same
up
bike.
BMX bike.
Him and 76 are like that. They still have the same BMX bike we rode when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
pretty
can't
cool.
ever get rid of that. Like sentimental value there.
Damn. Yeah.
Dallas was a cool park. I was like 10, 15 minutes from my house I was living at.
Well, it used to be a YMCA, remember? And they had like all that wood, and then they took out all the wood and they left just like this little weird concrete part of it.
For
It's
sure.
still there to this day. It's kind of weird.
Half the park, or more than half the park's just flat. Empty.
Yeah. And it's like 2 quarter pipes and a couple euros, and that's it.
Sick. Me at a skate park's dangerous. Like dangerously bad. Not like
Anywhere without handlebars is a little
Dude,
dangerous.
he just got a bicycle. All 4 of us have bicycles now. We need to go ride.
You got one?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah,
wheelie?
He's got a
BMX
BMX
bike.
Can you wheelie it?
I can manual it.
No, I can't wheelie one. My one's made to wheelie
He
and I
can wheel a
can't.
bicycle.
You
You'll
can put
get
me
it,
on a
dude.
beach cruiser, I'll wheel
I
it.
actually went for a ride to the gym yesterday and the road was like open. It was super easy because I think I've been doing it in a back alley, but I did not look comfortable. I'm like, like fighting it.
How are you so awkward on a bike?
I don't know. I'm used to the motor. Like, just help me.
But
But these
everything
things-
with the throttle, he's disgusting. The bicycle, he's adjusting.
Yeah.
Did you ever skate or ride BMX at all?
Dude, I used to try to skate, but every time I skated, I hurt myself. So my dad banned me from skating when I was racing. He's
Dude,
like,
it's
nothing.
so funny. Like all 3 of us were together all the time. We're like pretty well rounded. And Jake sucks on the bicycle.
No, I really do. That's why I bought one.
I'm excited for him to learn though.
Yeah.
I'm excited to go back to Utah
Utah? What's in Utah?
with Jake. Go
We've talked about it on a few podcasts, bro, but they took me down a hill at Utah. It was a real gnarly one, and my ass was stuck between the seat and the rear tire going down this steep thing, dude, and I was freaking out.
I feel like if it doesn't have an engine or a motor, it's not his gig.
You can't do it.
No. And ball sports, but golf, I'm better than Foley.
Don't get started on the golf.
Oh man.
All right, we're here on this podcast to talk about you, Gabe, and talk some shit. But let's go back to when you injured yourself. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so I was fucking around riding Harley like I could ride a dirt bike.
Were you stunt riding?
For the people who don't know Gabe, he had a Sportster, right?
Yeah, I had a Sportster.
Yeah, how long ago was that?
I think I had that in 2017. So a couple years, almost 10 years ago now.
Damn. Yeah, we talk about it all the time. We talk about Gabe getting on another Harley. It'd be cool.
I should do it.
Yeah.
Definitely should do it.
Yeah, or come ride one of the 15 that we have at the very least, you know?
Yeah. I thought about asking, but I hate borrowing shit.
You know what? We could do a little session straight after this.
Yeah, you drive my truck, I
We
take
could all go to jail today.
Yeah, so talk us through the crash. Like, you had a pretty gnarly injury. You look like were you in an Aspen neck brace?
Yeah.
I had the same one.
Dude, those fucking suck.
Yep.
That was
So
on the
uncomfortable.
Harley?
Yeah. So I came into a corner too hot. I hit the back brakes and it locked up. I tried to let go of it a little bit, but as soon as it caught traction, it high-sided me. So I flew, landed on head, neck, and broke my back, broke my neck. I was in bed coma for like or not bed coma, but bed rest for 6 months straight, just laying there, like bored out of my mind, like going crazy. So I was watching a bunch of like build series on like fabricating and building cars, trucks. And I was like, all right, well, when I get out of like this, when I get released to physical therapy, I'm going to start welding. That's when I taught myself how to weld. I sat there every night, like just as much as I could do until I got tired. And then I'd go lay down for a couple hours and then go out and weld again. Did that for a bunch. And then I've seen the C10 that I have now pop up on, I think it was probably Facebook Mark. I don't even know what it was back
Probably
then.
Offer Up back then.
Yeah. And then Jay kept sending it to me, my buddy, and he was just like, yo, you need to get this. You need to get this. It's a perfect roller. And I was like, nah, I don't need it right now. Not in this time. And then after like a month of him sending it to me, I finally was like, fuck it. Let's go get it. So I went, picked it up, and then, just started fucking welding on that every night. Did the chassis work. And
Where was all this?
this is in my mom's garage in Spring Valley. So
What were you doing? Stick welding? MIG welding? What were you doing?
straight booger flux core.
On the truck
Yeah.
that you're driving today.
Yeah, so
that's
if you
great.
look at my truck, like all the chassis work, it's not terrible, don't get me wrong, but it's all flux core welded and shit, like just learning. So there's a lot of shit. That's why I look at my truck compared to your truck, and I'm like, dude, my truck's a pile. Like, I don't even want to drive my truck.
Your truck was originally, like the original game plan though was autocross, correct? Like you didn't build it to be a drift truck.
No, so another buddy took me for a ride as like a ride along as I was building the truck, and like you were saying, it was going to be an autocross truck. But he took me for a ride in his car, and it was a drift car, and I was like, this is it. I want to do
way
this.
cooler.
Yeah, dude. Like,
At the track on the street? Or
nah, back in 905 when it was cool
Sick.
to go. So he took me there, and I was like, bro, like being able to link through a corner and stuff and having control over it, and you're going fast as fuck, like this is fun. So I was like, all right, I'm going to build a drift truck. And at that time, everybody was like, no, it's not possible. You can't do it. You're not going to slide, this and that. And just pushed me in way harder than I thought. And once it hit the road, I kind of just like fine-tuned everything to be more drift-oriented. And it just took off from there.
When you did your truck, were you like inspired by someone who had a truck or something? Or is it just a thought you want to do a truck or what?
There's this dude out in Australia that engineered the slide.
Australia.
I don't
Fucking
know his
Aussies.
like, old name, but he's a really good fabricator, and he built like an old, I'd say like an early gen Tacoma, and that was like a full tube chassis.
It would have been a Hilux, surely.
Yeah, there you go.
They don't have those Tacomas.
Is it still around? Do you ever see it anymore or no?
Yeah, I see it on Instagram, but I don't think he's driving it too much
Sick.
now. He's busy with work. How we all know how that goes.
Well, to circle back to what you said, like a minute ago, everyone was like, it's not going to slide, it's not going to do this, it's not going to do that. Like, you've put a lot of time in, but there is one thing, like, from going in your truck, Foley can vouch for it, is, like, when you're in that fucking vehicle sliding, you can feel, bro, like, there's not a lot of drift car drivers that could get in there and do what you do. Like, it's so heavy. I feel like you're constantly in a push. That's why, we keep talking about it, but I'm excited for you to get some power underneath it.
For sure.
But, like, dude, you're still going fast, but I watch how you have to check up.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I guess you'd say, weight that goes with it too. So like when you're sliding, like if the car in front of you, they could stop way quicker.
Right.
And they got power to get away way quicker as
and
well.
you're a fucking freight train.
Dude, I grew up around like manning cars and steering wheels and driving. Like that was my thing, like before motorcycles. But like when me and Joey saw you in the drift truck, and we were just like, what the fuck, dude? We got to get in a truck. And I don't know if I would be like as inspired today if I got a car for my first drift car, you know, as in like going to the track and driving my truck and like actually having to drive the truck, you know, it's a different kind of high, I think.
It takes a different type of driving discipline to be able to control a truck, in my opinion, especially like from the start, like how we all started with sloppy trucks all over the place and no handbrake and stuff like that, underpowered.
I only took my truck to the track because of you.
Yeah.
So I took the 350Z.
I want to add that video in of Joey putting the truck on the side, talking about shitty trucks.
Yeah, we can put it in.
Yeah.
A lot of people haven't seen that, but dude, me and Joey we were so like, we want to drift our trucks, like watching
right
it's
now.
so sick, like right now that our trucks were literally, he bought his off a marketplace and he's just like single cab V8 manual, I'm in drift truck.
I'm going drifting.
So I went straight to the track and it was like, dude, the thing had like 8 inches of body roll, you know, but by any means we were going to link the track no matter what.
It's cool though, because like we'll be able to look back at that now and be like, damn, that shit was so sloppy, and now we're like ripping out here with this nice stiff chassis.
Yeah, I'm
it's
super
handling
excited.
everything perfect.
I just can't wait to run into Foley. Think about it all the time. Not like violently. I just want to.
Have you rode in Gabe's truck at the track?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did one time with him.
He tried to get me to drive it, and I was like, I tried so hard. I was like, dude, as much as I want to, I'm like sitting in there, and my legs are all bowed out. I got like my side of my like. Dude,
Is it because it's welded to the seat to just fit you?
Yeah, and I got 2 feet on him, so
You got not much on him.
Nah,
if you want to stand up for a second.
It's not much. It's only about like this.
we're pretty close. But like Gabe's discipline that he's built in that truck is just it's undervalued because he's so humble about it. Like people don't understand, dude. Like it's so gnarly. It has minimal power. It gets down.
You just recently had like a big name driver truck. Is that like the first kind of like?
That.
Yeah, that was the first like FD driver I've ever had. Well,
Who's that?
Ben Hobson.
Sick.
So
What does he
he's
drive?
He drives for RTR Mustangs. So he's got one of the new Mustangs out there with, I think some tracks he's set up for like 1,100 horsepower.
That thing drives for him.
Yeah, and that's one thing me and him were talking about is driving the truck compared to like a normal common drift chassis. You got to have driving discipline. Like it's not going to drive itself for you. You got to know when to put inputs in, when to grab hydro, when to left foot brake, when you should actually be on throttle and clutch kicking and stuff like that. And when he drove it, he was straight wide open throttle the whole time, clutch kicking.
Like he can drive.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, my truck's slow, so I'm going to start driving like that. And it made the truck drive faster just because you're beating the absolute shit out of it.
You're saying clutch kicking?
Yeah, just kind of just being on, because you know it's
like
slow.
in a 2-stroke.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's like riding a 125.
Yeah.
You get off the throttle, it's done.
You're dead.
You're slowing up.
Yeah, so like if you know, like, all right, that car's that corner is gonna transition right now, so he's gonna start taking off. Like just start clutch kicking it and getting it in there to get into that pocket and be on his door.
Does it destroy your car doing that type of stuff?
Of course, but that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of set up and yeah, they're set up for it, you know. But obviously, I mean, how long you've had your truck for? How long now?
It's been on the street since 2018.
Yeah,
That's crazy,
dude. And you've been inspiring so many people, like because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's a trip.
It's pretty cool, man. Like you think you just built something out of your garage for your own fun and own benefit, and then now all these people over the world want to drive a C10 truck or drift something like that.
Right, for sure.
But
Look at these two dickheads. They're spending heaps of money wanting to go do it now.
But that's what's so beautiful when you do something the right way.
With your own passion, not out of spite or...
You know, and there's... I hate to go down that road, but there's been a couple people after him that have purposely built C10s because of what he did, but they don't have the passion that he did, so it didn't stick. It was the same shit with Super Hooligan. How many kids built a Super Hooligan bike when they saw us going to X Games?
Man, way sicker than our bikes.
They're like,
I tried building one.
yeah, they're like, these dudes are going to X Games. I'm building one, and then before they get their bike done, the craze was over. But we got to go do that because we've been, you
actually
passionate
enjoyed
about
doing
it,
and riding, and
that's why it stuck for Gabe because he's passionate about it. You know.
Yeah, it's so gangster.
Yeah, C10 was my first car. Like my first truck, first car I ever purchased myself.
Is it C10 forever?
Nah, I
think you're always gonna have one in the stable though.
Oh,
you know,
100%.
You're never going to get rid of that one, but you will get something else in the
everything's
future.
for sale.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
No,
It'd
dude,
be
I'm
so
telling you
hard.
right now, someone could be here with 150 grand for that
so.
truck. I don't know if you do it.
I'd probably tell him no.
It's just, dude, like the memories,
Right,
you know.
right.
And that's not worth 150 grand. I'd feel terrible selling it to them for that.
But there's a few issues. The pros, cons, more cons than pros.
Yeah.
Just want to let you know you will not be able to drive it like me. And that's fine.
It's going to feel
Oh, it
like
doesn't come with the
absolute
drift
dog
button?
shit.
No,
You can't just press that button, it does it?
I can't wait to watch you drift.
Oh,
It's
right.
gonna be so fun. Just letting them go in the pit.
Yeah.
All I've
It's
ever
closer to
drifted,
my
if
height.
someone's listening to this, is a Commodore. Sketchy ass Commodore.
Which a Commodore still has a limited slip, right, from the factory.
Yeah.
So they should be able to get down
Yeah, I mean, they're
Commodores
equivalent
get
to
down.
pretty much like a vet or like any like
with the truck bed.
LS platform based.
God, I want to go to Australia.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
November.
November.
Dude, you need to come to Australia, Gabe. You got followers in
I
Australia.
do have some.
Yeah.
That'd be dope out there.
Yeah.
You got a car for me to drive?
I'll get you a Commodore.
They have a car lot, dude. That's what they do.
A
over
dealership.
I have a
He
car
has
dealership
he
back
gets
home.
hands on anything.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
give me a U, dude, and I'll bring
Yeah.
it. And we'll get
It'll probably be stock. We'll just weld some shit underneath.
Yeah,
And then you got to learn how to shift with your left hand because it's all right hand drive.
I've driven right hand.
I figured the four of us throw the same into a pot. We get two decent Commodores.
We'll get
Like,
4 for $500 each. They might be auto, but that doesn't matter.
Auto
We can,
and V6. We
You
need
think
to spend
so?
like 5 Gs for some
Yeah.
manuals and some V8s.
we get some trade-ins.
you don't
though.
think we're better off like throwing into a pot and getting two like nice ones?
Yeah, but I have to bring them back though.
right. Beat the cans off of them and then send them back.
Or if we beat the cans off them too much, we try to sell them there. They won't be coming back.
You said you drove a right-hand drive car. What kind of car is it?
Hondas. Like
All right, gotcha.
accurate.
Not the track, not the
No,
drift track.
no. It'd be a different situation
yeah,
for
it'd be
sure,
pretty cool.
but I think it'd be interesting.
Could you imagine coming into ABS on the right hand side?
Might be better.
Be
Like up on the
weird.
top side, going into that right.
It'd be weird.
It'd be weird for sure, just because like driver's side usually like proximity, you could see where you're at, so you'd be completely opposite going through the same type of corner. Be a trip.
So, talking about building cars, how much money you reckon you're deep into that C10?
Into mine, fuck,
A lot of flux score.
a lot of flex for money. Shout out to Home Depot.
Like it's a hard thing to just get into and try to do it yourself.
For sure, especially because like I was a mechanic before, so I didn't fabricate. I never worked at a fabrication shop. I'm self-taught with that, as we were talking about. So there's a lot of shit that I did that I cut out over the years and changed. So the hours and time I have into my truck,
That would add up more time.
More than parts, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
The time is the crazy thing. Well, it's like the amount of time you spend on Foley's truck's crazy.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
many hours do you think you got into that thing?
Into your truck?
Thousands.
yeah, I'd say close to fucking 10,000 probably. Honestly.
10,000 hours.
Yeah.
And
It's
the-
a full year of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hours like I don't-
Fiddly stuff. And
I go home and just my brain doesn't stop with this type of stuff, so it's never ending.
you're probably still thinking
Looking
about it.
stuff up, yeah. Oh,
Is
yeah,
he? It's at his house. Is he fucking it up?
No.
Honestly, I was kind of like scared to bring it home and start like putting my hands on it and stuff like that, just because the amount of like time and effort and like craft that you put into it, you know. But like, it's funny because being here at the shop, you know, since day one, like I've welded before, you know, but like when I got into the shop, that was one thing that I was like really inspired to do, is learn how to weld and whatnot. But
You've gotten
Much better, you know?
exceptionally
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
I had this fucked up thought in my head when you when you got the truck home. I wanted to like put like a random piece of metal in the back that you couldn't see on the camera and just get a video of us fucking grinding that piece of metal. And there's just a shitload of sparks
shit.
flying out of the back of the
Piece of
truck
shit.
and send it to Gabe. I just thought it'd be so funny, dude.
no, but I mean, it feels good to get the truck home. Honestly, it does, and start getting my hands on it, you know.
The dash looks sick. The flocking's dope.
Yeah, the
Everything
flock-
with the flock.
It's funny because like everything that I'm doing to the truck since I got it home is all still like inspired by you talking to you. You already pretty much know what I'm doing to the truck, you know,
Yeah,
since I
every-
brought it home. There's nothing that I'm doing that you're like,
Everything that you said that you'd want to do, though, I would be like, I would go that route.
it's you definitely hit the nail on the head building that truck, dude. Like everything I imagined, you did plus more. You know,
That's
So it's
crazy.
like-
That's hard not to do. Like when you tell someone you want something, and then they do it, and it's never usually what you had envisioned in your head because you're not the same people.
Well,
So-
a lot of it exceeded what you were even saying.
Yeah, that's
You know,
crazy.
Foley has a realistic expectation, and then Gabe exceeded.
He has high expectations. This motherfucker.
Well, dude,
of
and
you,
for-
and
so-
yeah.
I mean, anyone who's done business with Gabe too, like he has very high expectations, you know. So like the whole process of building the truck, the communication, the photos, the videos, the unsure moments of like just like some dude. There's days where like you know, you just like paused, you know, and we're like,
For
all
sure.
right, go back to the drawing board and like, hey, let's try and do this or maybe that, you know, like there was a lot of like,
Or go work on something else.
Yeah,
I've always
100%.
valued that about both of you guys. Like when you
Right,
hit a
sometimes you gotta
stopping
step away
point,
from
why
it.
keep smashing your head against the wall?
Right.
Go. There's other shit to go work
Just
on.
walk away for a minute
And
and figure it out.
dude, at the end of the day, too, it wasn't an open checkbook build, you know. So it was like there was a lot of things that I know Gabe would have done differently, or like doing in the next truck because there will be another truck sometime in my life, you know.
For sure.
It's just I know it, like no shortcuts, you know. Cut the floor out, you know. Start proper, you know. I
Yeah,
don't even
why
know-
work on a timeline? Let's just
Dude,
do it right.
I don't even know if I would use a OEM chassis on the next truck. You
I'm
know,
thinking just full tube chassis. At this
dude,
point.
imagine like when we started that truck and you took it down to the frame and it's just like, damn, this thing is a shithole. I mean, you took 5 days just stripping the thing.
Just getting the gunk and fucking paint
Yeah,
off.
But
all
that's
that shit.
unique. I think that there's a lot to be said about the fact of what you guys brought. Something that's, you know, it's crazy. The 90s is now 30 plus years ago. A truck's
Right.
over 30 years old.
Factory
you guys brought
frame.
something back to
Yeah.
life that's going to outperform a lot of tube chassis.
Right.
I'll put that out there, especially with you behind it. You know.
Yeah, the whole chassis, like inside, outside, got torn down to fucking bare metal, and then it got ribbed, and got plated, boxed, painted on the inside before welded up, sealed. So
Yeah, it was done properly. It's funny because like I look at it and like as we go through the process, you know, the factory frame has a lot of like imperfections and shit like that where like you can like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, was filled and smooth and this and that, but there still is some like imperfections from the factory. And I look at it and I'm just like, oh, it bugs me so much, you know.
it just
Yeah, but-
snowballed so much, dude. Honestly, like the truck originally came in for.
I was just gonna say that. Dude. So we went. Sorry to interrupt you, but we went through like so. Me and Joey started going to the track, and then like every time we would go to the track, it's like we bought trucks, and it's like I couldn't tell you. There's probably a track day where we did like 3 or 4 AutoZone runs.
Oh,
You know, like we
every
were
track day you guys
driving
did.
and going to the auto parts store and working on our trucks substantially more than we were driving. You
For
know,
sure.
so I think that's what inspired Joey and myself to. We were just like. About a year and a half ago now, we're like, fuck it. We want to go to the track. We want to be able to compete. We want to be able to drive with you. You know, with the vehicles we had, like it was damn near impossible.
Yeah, I think the best way to do it is like really spend the time and if you're doing a truck, get the chassis and suspension good, and then worry about horsepower later once your chassis can handle it.
I did that backwards.
And yeah, because like you're just gonna be fighting everything the whole time, and then trying to keep up and do stuff and make changes going through. You're just gonna.
Bro, it was so fun though. Let me tell you, like it felt like I was driving a boat because the thing was just going like this. But if I really needed to, I could just pin it. You know, I had over 400 horsepower.
Get out of the water.
Bro, it was crazy. Literally, get on top of the plane, dude.
We were in
Like,
lowered manual trucks. Did you ever like? What's the shittiest vehicle you've drove at a track?
In the beginning, my truck was really shitty. Like
Really?
there was so much body roll. It was.
Did you have
Hey, but
coilovers and stuff on it?
but while we're on that, all right, we just talked about okay, cool, spend a bunch of money, build a truck. But there's gonna be a lot of stunt riders that are listening to this podcast that want to get into drifting. So let's talk about it from Jay's standpoint for a second of how.
Jay wanted to get into it right now. I would
Dude,
say
it's funny. He's a big.
No, your homie Jay. Like the way he does it, dude. Like he
Yeah.
spends so minimal, and he's one of the best drivers out there. Like I have so much respect for that.
And good
So
vibes.
what's your advice to the stunt rider that's watching this right now? And he's like, yeah, I can't afford to build a $40,000-$50,000
Do I
truck.
get my notebook out?
Yeah. So what vehicle do they go buy?
To be honest, Beamer chassis are really good. Like E3, E36.
Right. It's like the poor man
E46.
M3, right?
Yeah, they make so much mechanical grip, you don't need horsepower.
Right.
So if you set them up right, you're going to be making 180 horsepower going faster than my small block Chevy that makes 300 horsepower, you know?
And how much can you get one of those cars for right now?
You could probably find a manual one for like, it depends. COVID kind of screwed everything up, but $2,500.
Right.
For a
So-
straight beater. And like, dude,
And
if you're willing to double your money and spend like 5, 6, maybe 7, you can already get one that has probably coilovers, a handbrake, some seats, and
That's the
like
thing,
semi
too,
set
yeah.
up. You
A
know?
lot
So
of
we're
these
talking
times-
$5 to $7 grand, and you could be at ABS having fun with this.
Oh,
I get
yeah.
it. We've
Yeah.
taken it to the extreme, but look who we're trying to be like,
Yeah.
right? But I want people that are listening to this to understand, like, dude, you can come have fun with us for for the price of a
Probably
Dyna.
cheaper than a Harley.
Literally,
Yeah,
I might need to sell my Harley back
It's
home so I can
crazy.
get one.
And if
dude.
you have a low horsepower car like that, you're not going to be spending a lot of money on tires. You're not going to be spending a lot of money on like maintenance for it because it's reliable. It's going to work. It's going to do what you need.
Change the oil, change the tires. Like I want dudes. There's so many dudes that I would love to have out there with us, and I feel like we're constantly talking about how expensive it is because we're idiots, and we're like I said, we're trying to build a truck like Gabe's, you know. And like I want people to get into it. It's a grassroots. There's one thing that I love about drifting that it's rare is when you break down at a drift track. By the time you open up your door, there are 6 people waiting to help you. It's the coolest shit ever, bro.
Where you come from motocross and your bike breaks and go, hope it stays down.
You know?
I definitely think it's like the group that Gabe has too. You know, like Jay, Alfonso, Matt, all those guys. Like, dude, they're so fucking cool and humble and like welcoming. You know, so like every time we go to the track, it's just like a big group.
Yeah, Pacific is definitely the best first track day to get into because we showed up just so green. Like I had my 350Z. I remember I was begging you to come with me, and looking back, the only reason you didn't is because you knew you would go buy a car the next day. Yeah. So he was like, "No, I'll go handle it. And I remember the first few track days I went, that 350Z was great to me. But what was better was just like the people, dude. That's what got me hooked. Was just, dude, everyone was just so sick, and like there was no like ego. The best driver there that day had some crazy Beamer with an LS in it, and he got off the track and acted like it wasn't a big deal. Like, I don't know, man. The drift community is just so badass.
It's really it's like a tight knit group. Like honestly, drifting still isn't like a big sport. I don't feel like. I feel like it's still on the uprising. But everybody within it, especially the grassroots events, everybody's chill. Everybody just wants to hang out and drive and have a good time. No drama. Nobody wants to be sitting there arguing when they spent a bunch of money to get out there. Because most of the money that we spend is probably travel time, I would say, for most people. Just because we don't have a close track. So the track's 2-3 hours away.
Dude, part of it is getting together and making the trip there, you know?
Yeah.
That's like my favorite part. That's why I always try to get us in the same truck when we're going places, because that's fucking half the fun.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than road tripping with your buds and talking shit.
So I wanted to get you started on it, talking about it, but I really wanted to go into depth on what you actually did to Foley's truck. Like, I know you were talking about it a little bit before, but I really want from your point of view to like go into a bit of a depth about where you started and where it's finished.
His truck, like we were saying, it snowballed. It originally came in for, I think, a 3-link in the rear end and maybe a rack and pinion conversion.
It's, I think, my 3rd drop off at your shop.
Yeah.
Just for little things, you're like doing one thing.
And I was telling him like what I wanted and this and that, and he was like, it was so funny, I'll never forget. He was just kind of like, so you want to just frame the truck? You know? And we're just like, fuck it, you know?
It went in for suspension.
Yeah. Essentially.
Coilovers and a 3-link.
Yeah.
And then the cab was off 6 months later.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but you could probably talk for hours about what you did to that truck, dude. It's crazy.
I just want like a breakdown for someone that doesn't have one, doesn't know what's going on, and someone listening. And then they're gonna see your truck done soon. Right. I kind of wanted Gabe to like explain what he did in the simplest way for a man that doesn't know how to drift or what a drift car is.
Get all the parts and stuff, everything we put on it, like what?
Yeah, so it's a full frame off. If you were to do like a restoration in a sense.
And do you enjoy doing that?
I love it. It's dope.
Yeah.
Because I get a vision in my head of what the end goal should look like. And like, as I'm doing the chassis, I see it in my head how I want it. I wish I could draw it on a computer so clients and people could see what I see in my head. One day. But that's the coolest part, is just being able to, that's what I love the most, is I see something in my head and then I physically get to bring it to life.
Maybe you can get that chip that Elon Musk does. And go straight to your computer. And then he's in your head.
That would be sick, but that sounds scary.
Off the top of your head, what we have like some of the best name brand parts on the truck, you know? Like,
yeah, for sure.
What we put on that thing?
Like I always predict, keep it simple and keep what I built my truck off of was like, all right, I grew up in off-road, desert and stuff like that, and seeing the Baja, and I was like, if these trucks can go through the Baja 1000, make it to the finish line, not have issues, my drift truck should be able to go to the track and not have issues. So in the brake setups, I always went with Willwood. It's a good company, local as well. They're up in Long Beach, Santa Ana area, somewhere up there, and they're great to work with. Same with like rear end stuff. I like supporting local companies. So Curry is another good company. Tremec for the transmissions, brand new T56, just because they're right off the bat rated for a good horsepower and torque rating. I've had mine in my truck for 6-7 years now and hasn't came out, like non-stop beating on it, no issues, thankfully. Suspension, I have always ran QA1 and have never had really a big problem with it, other than when it's my own driving issue and fucking some stuff up. But they're great to work with as well. Like they always are like into upping their product as well. So when I first started working with them, like we tried a bunch of different spring rates, different shock packages or coilover packages, and then they ended up making their own subframe for the C10s, which actually give you more clearance in the front end. So a lot of stuff that I did on my truck, they were able to, I think, utilize and see what would work and what could give them some opportunities as well. So they went ahead and did a subframe for that offers a rack and pinion conversion. And yeah, a lot of companies like that I work with and I have been working with for the last like 5-6 years consistently. And I think that helps just staying consistent with companies like that, just because it helps with me when I'm working on my trucks and projects that I have, like your truck. I kind of already know like a product choice line that I could use and go to and that will work. And I don't have to worry about failing on us later down the road. So
As long as you stay on top of it.
yeah.
It's funny because you talk about like self-neglection and shit, and like that's when you've had issues. You know, it's super important. Like, how about like track prep and stuff like that? Like, a lot of people like really overlook that stuff, you know. And I think it comes to a point that's like it is very important. And I know like, only having 150 horsepower, under 200 horsepower and stuff, it's like, here there, but like once you start getting up in like the 4 or 5 stuff like that, like you're moving, you're
For
going
sure.
fast, dude. Like how fast are you entering those corners sometimes?
I don't have a speedometer, but I would imagine fuck, dude.
70, 80
I
at
would
the small
imagine,
track.
Yeah, because I mean, second gear, you're going up to freeway speeds in my truck. So I'm entering
Yeah.
third, top of it, clutch kicking. I would imagine I'm doing probably at least 65, 70.
Right.
And then that's my truck being slow horsepower. So like you were saying, a simple bolt check goes a long way. And a lot of people
important.
don't check their cars until they have a big noise or something loose that you could physically feel. So like every event, I like my motor. I know I beat the shit out of it, so I change my oil every event.
Yep.
Just something I like to do.
Sounds
And-
just like the Harleys.
Yeah, just peace of mind.
Yeah, because if you know you're on limiter for fucking at least an hour of a day, like that's a lot that motor's getting beaten on, in my opinion. So I go and change the oil, and while I'm doing that, I just put a wrench on everything.
Just go
Very
over it.
important.
Yeah.
You've always done it by yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. We've had a sick group since our first track days. Like, dude, me and Joey, you've met like Mayor, Hazard, Dylan, Snow. Like, dude, we've always like. It's nice having a little like group and a little team too to like help put your hands on the vehicles.
I always see you guys like, oh, I need parts. Like somebody's already going out and getting them.
so
You guys are
sick.
still doing something else. It's like, fuck, that takes 2 hours out of my day right there
Dude,
just
so
to run into
much,
the
yeah.
store.
Yeah, we've been very blessed with the people that just continue to support whatever we do. It's been really rad. Sean, Aunt Mayor, and Hazard. It doesn't really matter what we're doing; they're always going to be there. And like,
I'm really excited. Mayor got a drift car.
yeah,
And it's currently Gabe is fucking it up.
I got the cutting wheel and I got the welder out already.
GTO, stand by.
Yeah, so we made an angle kit for that this week, and it's turning out pretty good. It's only
can't
been,
hear
like, 3 days.
GTO without hearing snow.
It's not, dude, I was just thinking. that.
GTO all day.
Did you hear the GTO song?
No, I've never heard
Oh,
it.
man. We'll have to have him sing
Sing
it for
it.
you later.
I don't know if I
fucking
want
know.
So with your brand, are you gonna start building parts and selling it, or like what's your plan with Franco's Speed Shop?
I have some hard parts. Like I have an angle kit for C10s right now.
You can go online and buy that off a website.
Yeah, you can hit me up on Instagram. I slack on my actual website.
We need to get that thing going.
Yeah, I definitely do that soon.
Yeah.
But no, I have a hard part already. It's a bolt-on angle kit for C10, which is pretty dope in my opinion. You do have to run QA1 and Willwood components to make it all work right, but
So you're gonna do a kit in the end and sell them on your website and have the whole.
yeah, the whole package would be nice to set up, and I've talked to them already about it, having like a few of them on shelf for them as well, and they could send it out from their website as well. So I think QA1 may be doing this soon. But yeah, no, honestly, it's my business right now. I'm having a lot of fun just being able to do personal projects, I guess you'd say, like one-off builds, or I just like seeing shit come to life from my head. I don't know how else to explain it. It's
Yeah.
hard to find that little niche, and I think I've jumped right into it, and I'm just kind of evolving with it. I'm growing, so it's a good thing.
One
as
man
well.
team. It's gnarly,
Yeah.
dude.
It's hard to do
Yeah.
everything by yourself.
Are you looking to expand? Are you looking to take on more work? Where are you at with all that?
I definitely need to expand because I'm in a little, I'd call it a little studio for myself, honestly, and I need help. Not gonna lie.
Yep.
So if I had more help, I think I need to get into more space, and with more space, that would bring in more customers. Not really necessarily looking for more customers. I don't even advertise that.
You need another person to take on a whole.
Yeah.
Well, if someone's listening to this, they're good at fabrication. You should DM.
It's just hard, dude. We live in a world, and I love this about the world right now. I'm not hating on this, but everyone wants to do it for themselves, and I love that. We used to live in a world where everyone needed to be a part of a team or a group or a corporation, and we'll all figure it out together. But now we live in a world where it's like, well, if he's doing it, I can do it too, and that's beautiful. I love that for people. But when you're someone like Gabe or Foley, and even myself, when it comes, you see how controlling I am about the stunt shit and how hard I'm trying to let go. It's because I have something in my head that it needs to be this way, and then you bring somebody else in.
I'm the same way,
and they want to do it their way.
Well, that's one of the biggest things that we talk about all the time is like, dude, you can't be the guy for every job. You know, it's so important. I see that in your shop right now. You do everything. You need a guy to do all the bitch work, essentially, you know, and like
you just got to find that right person, someone that believes in what he's doing, but someone that he can trust enough to maybe do a couple things their way and let it go. But it's hard, dude. It's very hard.
Dude, you run a sick show out of like a 2-car garage, you know. Yeah, so I can't wait. Eventually it's gonna happen. You know,
it'll happen with time for sure. And that's one thing too, is I don't like rushing shit. If everything happens for a reason, in my opinion. So like, I was working out of my mom's garage, and I had my home washer and dryer in there. I had a refrigerator in there. Like there was one car in there,
welding,
pushing tools out just to get a car in. You know, like it was tough, and that I think humbled me more, just because I was like, all right, like this is what I want to do. I genuinely enjoy this, and even if I'm in a 1-car garage, I'm still not working for somebody that won't let me take a day off when I need to or something, you know?
And you're not biting off more than you can chew. I think that and I've seen you do that. I've gone to your shop that you're at right now, and I'm like, bro, you got fucking 7 cars here right now. What are you doing? You're like, I don't know. I'll figure it out. And the last few times, and even right now, like I know you have that build from Hawaii, and like I know you have a lot going on right now, and I'm sure it's different.
A build from Hawaii?
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, what's up with that?
To talk about that? My bad.
No, you're good.
Are we allowed to talk about it?
Yeah. So like,
did someone send a car here, or you're building a car and sending it over there?
So they reached out to me and they wanted something like Foley's truck. They saw the chassis I was building for that, the frame off, and they're like, I want that.
Inspired.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I'm very thankful for Foley. He let me go crazy on his truck. He was like, if it was your truck, what would you want to do? And I was like, to be honest, you need to do the frame. Frame and suspension is your main thing for drifting with the truck. Like make sure it's good and it can handle like we talked about. And yeah, so customer, I never met him before. He's seen, I think, a video I did with Autotopia. And then
that was a sick video. If you guys haven't seen that, check out Gabe Franco.
I'll put the link in the YouTube for this one.
Shout out to Sean. He's a good dude. But yeah, he watched that video, started following me on Instagram. At that time, I was building Foley's truck. So he saw all that stuff and he was like, all right. Reached out to a few other big name people in the industry and they gave him quotes for it. And they're steep, which makes sense. But I knew that I could get what he wanted done in a reasonable amount of time, as well as costly efficient, you know, because it's a one-man team. And I know if I were to start and stop on it, if all focus is into it, I can get it done for him and he'd be happy with it. I'd be happy. Everybody wins. So he reached out. He was like, I don't have a K5 yet, but I want a K5. And I was like, okay, I'll put my ears out. I ended up finding one in Sacramento. I told him, I was like, yo, it's going to be about a full day of driving up there and coming back down. I can go get it. It's this amount of much. And he's like, let's do it. So went up there, picked that up, drug it out of a field, drove it back home, and it's been sitting at my shop waiting for me to touch it for over a year now.
Sick, but that's the next project that you're trying to finish?
Yeah, well, I got a C10 in my truck right now that's going back to Texas here soon, and then I'll be getting onto that one.
So you're really taking on jobs that aren't even local anymore?
No, most of my jobs, even when I started, were from like LA County or up further
That's
away.
pretty cool, man.
Just because I don't know what it was, but when I first started, a lot of different people that didn't know each other, they just kept saying they were getting fucked over by fabricators. They take their money, take a big deposit, and they wouldn't get work done. They were taking parts off their cars. They'd go check up on their cars. It's not even the same car. Like things
It's
are
a
missing off of
huge
it.
thing in that industry.
Huge problem.
I mean, you remember my
Even back in
transmission
Australia,
shit.
it's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to
Painters
me,
and
like,
fabricators.
I was just gonna say that
Painters and fabricators.
and to me, I was like, well, fuck, that's scary. So like one thing I still haven't done is I don't ever take a deposit. I try not to, just because I like to finish a job and then get paid for it. I hate owing somebody money. So if you pay me before the job, I'm like, fuck, I got to get this done for you like as soon as possible.
Stressed about it.
And if I can't touch your car for a year, that stresses the fuck out of me.
Also, if you don't understand what it takes to do what Gabe does, you shouldn't have a timeline.
100%.
You know,
Yeah,
that's
that's one thing too.
You gotta have patience.
That's in everything. That's even in this shop down here right now.
Yeah.
People don't understand how much time and effort go into things, but they want it done like that.
I'll tell you right now, when we did my truck, fucking Gabe had me stressed out the whole time. He was getting it done so fast, you know?
Mhm.
He was killing it.
I just trying to update my clients as much as possible. Like if I was in their shoes, I'd want to kind of know like my truck's right here. Why the hell were you spending 4 hours on this one bracket in this example? Because sometimes things don't.
That's why you do
work.
the update photos and show them what's going on.
For sure. Like even on Instagram, I only post a fraction of what I would send to a client. Foley probably got annoyed with me and was like, dude, shut the fuck
No,
up.
he probably
No,
likes
it was
it.
great, dude. I was just so busy at the shop. I get to go home at night and look at everything, you know? And by that time, Gabe was already asleep. So
Yeah.
I didn't get to respond to him.
Yeah, I go home. I go to bed about 8 o'clock, nice and early. Yeah, but honestly, I think just communication, especially with fabrication, because no chassis is the same. Every chassis is going to be bent a little bit different. It's going to have some different
Everything
something
from the
weird.
OEM, dude. It's just like that on the Harleys.
Mm-hmm.
You
So,
know?
and if you're doing custom work on it, like it's never going to be like, oh, okay, let's look at this R&R log and be like, oh, it's going to be 3.5 hours to do this, and it's never like that. So sometimes you have to go and explain to them like, yo, you had to snap a bolt in your head or something. I had to extract that, and it's in the worst location, so it took a bunch of fucking time. And I'm
The
not-
fabrication world's weird with like hourly and like what it actually takes, because some of these guys will just up their hours like crazy, but then say they can do your 8-hour job in 5 hours, but they're actually making more than say Gabe or somebody that's like trying really hard to build a clientele would by doing it in the 8. Like, does that make sense? Like they jack their rates up so high. They're like, oh, they're doing it in 5 hours. Yeah, but the homeboy over there is $320 an hour. This guy can do it in 8 hours at $140 an hour. You know what I mean? So it ends up being almost the same amount, but you feel like you're getting a better deal. It's weird.
That's the beautiful thing about fabrication, though. Is like people also come to you because you know they trust you and all that shit. Like the hourly doesn't, you know, that's not like working with Gabe. Like it is what it is. You know, it's like when he sends you a bill, you just got to pay the bill. You trust him. That's one thing with the fabricator. You know, you'll never. We talk about it all the time. You can't put a price on it.
it's hard, yeah.
You really can't put a price on it.
Because even like I worked as a mechanic, and a normal mechanic shop is over $100 an hour, and all
Mhm.
they're doing is removing and replacing parts. Like a dealership, for example, I think dealerships are close to 200, if not
Yeah,
over
some are
200
well
an
over
hour.
200.
Yeah,
You're
so-
paying for the tools and knowing that
The
you're going to get
space.
it back the right way, you know?
And there's a warranty on it.
Yeah.
but like if you're doing stuff like what I'm doing, it's like you can't just order this online. You can't
You're
just-
making it.
Yeah, and like you got to design it, like design time. Like some people are very talented and get on the computer and do all the solid work programming and have a rendering for you to go off of, and then you're just cutting pieces or whatever. But for me, it's like I got to sit there and think about how this is going to work, if this is going to be structurally strong, which would fail, or what I'd have to do to make this product actually work and be reliable.
You and Foley are both successful for the same reason, and it's like the biggest thing that stands out to me for a couple of reasons. But the biggest two that stand out to me is like you guys don't care how hard it is and how long it takes. You're just gonna do it, which is badass. But the reason people come to both of you guys, you to build their Harleys, you to build their trucks, is because not only are you guys good at what you do, you can go get on that machine and do things that are fucked up, right? Like people want you to build their truck because look at what you've done to your truck. People want you to build their stunt fenders and their motors because look at what you do to yours. You know what I mean? And I think that that's like
It's proven. you know?
exactly. It's tried and true is what I like to call it. And it's like this, like it's to me, it's just so inspiring. You know what I mean? Like the only thing I have in my life that's like that is riding a stunt bike, right? Like when Jake comes to me and asks me questions about stunt riding, and then I watch him ride a dirt bike, it tickles me, dude. I'm like, no way, dude. Like, look at this mother, you know. So that's the coolest thing for me about what you do, Gabe, is the trucks and shit that you're building are next level. but then what you can go do and get in that truck is even more next level than that.
Dude, I
know?
think that's one thing a lot of industries slack is like there's everyone who like that's their profession, but it's like, and like I've talked about with you guys, like owning a business or, you know, being good at something or whatever the situation is. It's like, I feel like you have to, it's a different, it just makes you a different animal when you could drive, like when you could drive the vehicle or you can ride the bike or you can ride the skateboard and build the skateboard or whatever it is. I feel like being one with the vehicle is one thing that like really stands out with you, you know.
You're able to like put your best input into it, in my opinion, because you know, like from experience, you're like, all right, if it needs this right here, or you should be doing this a little bit more. So if we could change it to give you that, then it's just a rider.
If I was in this truck coming into a corner 80 miles an hour, I would want to set up like this.
What would it do?
That's just such a different mindset than like most people building stuff get to know, because you guys are earlier you're talking about tube chassis and frame off builds. Like that shit's easy. I'll be real with you, dude. Like anyone can go buy a C10 chassis from so and so and a full bolt-on fucking subframe from so and then go find the cleanest Apache that they can and drop it all on, dude. Like that's Legos. Let's be real, dude. Like if we could afford the hoist, I mean, we have a forklift now, so we can. But like, bro, we could. If you gave me a couple $100,000 right now, I could build a truck off the fucking internet. That shit's cool.
You could bolt it together. 100%.
No disrespect, but that's Legos.
Dude, with that being said, so not to get off topic, but like right now,
You are off topic.
Do you have a favorite fabricator? Like,
that you look up to?
Who inspires you the most right now? I know, like from the beginning, because I do this shit all the time. You know, there's like always someone I'm watching, but like right now, is there someone that like really inspires you that you watch a lot?
Whose
Jake
post are you
Masters.
looking for when you open up your phone?
That's tough because there's a lot. Like it's sad to say, I don't even like know.
Give us
them by their
just
real
give us a
names,
couple.
But
Give us a couple.
Ryan at Kiwi Tech, I've always liked his work. I'm really a big fan of CNC and machine parts. I've always like wanted to get into that. It's another cute
Dude, he's grown a lot. He started like in your situation, building shit back in high school with a grinder, a welder.
You know what
and
Ryan does more
nothing-
than everybody? R&D.
Yeah,
That's what I respect
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Ryan.
yeah.
He'll spend a couple $100,000 and you won't be able to touch it for a year.
and that's like some of the best advice he's always told me. He's like, especially when I first started the shop and like moved into my little studio, I told him, I was like, what should I do? You know, like not necessarily what should I do, but I was like, he was like, honestly, keep going. I like what you're doing and just buy as much tooling as you can. Never be scared to invest in tooling.
Which right now I think you're limited with your space.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing is I keep wanting to buy bigger, better tooling, and I'm like, fuck. I'm
Dude,
not
I watch
keeping
you
this
drawing
outside.
circles and I'm like, that motherfucker's cutting that out with a grinder.
Yeah.
And so
It
homeboy over
looks
there's got
stamped.
yeah.
Him, Ryan's a good dude, super cool. I've always liked his products as well. Morgan Clark is obviously an amazing,
Sick.
amazing.
That dude's
fabricator.
gnarly.
And then I can't think of his name, but that dude in Australia with that Helix, the one that I was talking about, that truck, Tacoma.
Is it Mitch Pullen?
I think that sounds right. He's got.
I've been in that Hilux.
He does a lot of like Harleys
Boost
and cafe
Mobile?
racers too. No. You're thinking of a different dude.
You know that guy?
that dude.
He's
sick.
with the 1,000
That's
horsepower
another-
Hilux.
Yeah, there's so many different like fabricators.
I know
that
Mitch
look
pretty
up
well.
to.
He has this sick Hilux, which is like a single cab Tacoma with like 1,000 horsepower. Crazy. And he can drive. He drives a Boost. Do you have Boost Mobile here?
I just know about it because Chad Reed.
Yeah, same thing. But they pay him to go do demos in it. And he just, same thing, started in a little shop, started building cars. His dad has a dyno and builds motors. And then it kind of combined.
It's crazy. Like originally when I started, like when I was a kid, like riding BMX, I used to get like the beach cruisers with the 50cc motors on it and like chop the frame, zip tie the seat, or try and have my buddy's dad weld the seat rails to the frame to make it like a chopped fucking lowered thing, you know, big old ape hangers. Like I originally wanted to build cafes and like rat rods and stuff like that.
You still will.
I will definitely when I'm older. I
Down
can
the-
see
down the track.
myself tinkering around with that shit. But now like just like that type of stuff was like super. My grandpa used to take me, still go with him sometimes, but to like car shows, and like I just would geek out on rat rods and stuff.
We need to get you to Australia, dude.
I would love to go.
We'll need to do a trip.
Yeah, badly. We need
So
to do a
sad
couple
they got
trips.
A little bit off
Spiders bigger than
topic. I once welded.
Was it as good as you riding
This
a
is
BMX
my
bike?
story.
JB Weld?
I've done that
Let
too.
me guess, you broke one of the tractors at
No.
the house.
God no. If it's shit doesn't get fixed in Roxburgh. It's broken and dies there. No, so we used to do this thing. It was called I don't even remember what it was called, to be honest. But we got push bikes, and you had to modify them to go do a bar crawl in Redcliffe.
Oh god,
Dude, you
And
showed me
so-
pictures.
yeah,
This homeboy
yeah.
he welded a barbecue to one of his fucking.
Oh, I'm gonna chuck some photos up because it's the best memories ever. So you couldn't come with the stock push bike, so you had to buy like 3 and then weld them all together and make something crazy.
Okay.
There'd be people with like extended front ends. There'd be people with like literally houses on there. There's one guy with a barbecue.
Hell yeah.
I had this extension chopper thing, and my buddy can weld, and I'm in his garage, and I was like, "Dude, can you weld this?" He's like, "No, you got to build it yourself." I'm trying to weld this thing, bro. I was just like, I was just bogging it. I was like, "This is not as easy as it looks." And then I don't know why we had this, but I had this huge double-ended dildo, and I welded this rod on the front of it, and then I heated the rod up with the torch, and then jammed it on. I remember I huffed in this plastic, and I was like, I've just taken 10 years off my life. And I had this big double-ender off the front of the thing. There's this chop bike. I'll get some photos. I'll put on this, and I'll send it to you.
fabricator with a K.
Jesus.
That was
man.
that was the first and last time I was going to weld something.
Did it work?
Oh yeah.
Ah, you can weld
Yeah,
all
and
that,
it,
dude.
it stayed together, and it's like one of these things. If your bike breaks down, there's like a car breakdown, and you got to get taken in. I think the first one that snapped in half was the barbecue bike because we were dropping in on hills and everything. It was crazy.
Oh man,
It's like that Red Bull race where you build like a
Dude.
That
the
shit's sick.
soapbox.
yeah.
Frankie and I were talking last night. They do one in Encinitas.
I'm so down.
We should all do it and go against each other. You have to do it on your own. Because whatever you make will probably be sick, but whatever
Yeah.
I make is not making it over the first jump.
I would definitely. I would just cheat. I'd get banned for sure.
A little electric motor,
Yeah.
proper suspension. So I don't think you're allowed suspension. We're watching it last night.
No suspension. No motor.
And is it no brakes?
No brakes.
Dude, I was watching people get weeded last night. Like off the jump, and it's, you see their head because they're stuck in the car. It's just boom.
I like that Red Bull one where they see like who can build the thing that like flies the furthest
Sounds
Yeah.
pretty good.
and like off into the water. It's so entertaining.
Red Bull's got a bunch of good challenges like that.
Maybe that's something we need to look into.
We should. It'd
The
be a good
soapbox
time.
race
I
would
know-
be great.
Yeah, I know Aaron and Sean from Suicide Machine did that.
Really?
Yeah, they did the like downhill racing. It's pretty cool.
That's
That'd
sick.
be fun. Like Thrasher does their skate event where they have the downhill bomb sled.
Fuck,
Dude, that shit's
Gnarly.
sick.
That shit's insane.
And there's people just like this, and they're jumping as far as they
Smaller
can
and-
through.
Yeah, that shit's fucked
People
up.
are just dying in the ditch.
So we're getting to the end of the podcast. We've nearly been in here in an hour. I kind of just wanted to hear advice to someone that really wants to get into it. And what's next for you?
Get into drifting or fabricating?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
If you want to get into fabricating, do it. Just get out there, get a welder, and start welding shit
Fucking
together.
shit
Well, I actually have one more question.
Yeah.
That this should have done at the start of the podcast, but do you think if you didn't break your neck and had all the time in the hospital, you'd be where you're at now? Or would you still be a mechanic?
That's fucking tough. I'd probably still be wrenching for somebody else, to be honest.
You know what I mean? Like that time, that downtime, it's like a blessing in disguise, even though you got pretty banged up and had that. If you didn't have that time to reflect and research and go over things, it could have been a whole different story for you.
Yeah, for sure. It was just like you said, a blessing in disguise. I was doing shit, moving too quick and not like living in the moment type shit. And I fucking sitting there, laying there for 6 months in bed was just like, all right, what would I want to do? Like,
Now you're here, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I want to do something that's going to make me happy.
for sure. And I always enjoyed like building trucks. Like my first C10, I built the motor myself, did all the suspension work myself, but I always had to call a buddy like, hey, can you come weld the C notch in? Hey, can you come weld this for me? Or
I need a hand.
Yeah, and like I hate waiting on people.
Who was that helping you on that truck?
My buddy Stevie.
You want to give him a shout out?
Yeah, you remember Stevie? From
Stevie
Old-
Caton?
Yeah, dude.
Legend.
Love him. And he's a fucking one of. That's a no name, like not no name, no offense, but like.
But yeah, he didn't make it in the scene.
He doesn't even post his.
He
work
doesn't
on
care about the
Instagram.
bullshit.
He doesn't
He's just,
care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he was one
Underground
of the.
Raj
He
and
was
shit, yeah.
Red's best friend. I told you about
Red?
it.
Still hang
Yeah.
out.
Shout out to Red for
Got-
fixing the aircon if he's listening to
Gotta
this
be
one.
a good dude if he's Red's.
Yeah,
They
Red's
were-
Red's a man.
They were like everywhere they went, they were together. Stevie was
Was he a BMX rider too?
the sickest BMX
Still
rider.
can shred a bike. Like a
Yeah, now he
motherfucker, too.
builds like Ford Rangers and like off-road trucks and shit.
He doesn't even post it. Like his work is probably some of the best work out there too. Like he'd go over, like he was never afraid to teach me. He'd be like, "Oh, dude, try this welder out, or do this, try this."
He was happy to show you his skill.
Yeah.
That's cool. A lot of people gatekeep, and
Mm-hmm.
if they're good at it, they're like, I'm not teaching you. And that's what I like about Foley. I like about Joey. Like, if you ask them a question, they answer it correctly and not go like, "Oh, I'm not telling him the exact."
Everyone but you,
dude. You just
I'm not telling you
flooded
shit.
my brain with memories. Stevie and Cole, because Stevie Caden and Cole Denny were tight, and then Cody, who came over here with the dude. What's his older brother's name? It just, I don't know.
Cody and Chris.
Dude,
Sanders.
Chris, yeah, you just flooded my brain with so many memories because they all were like 10 years older than us.
Yeah, like.
So they were gnarly, you know?
And, like, I knew them from skate parks. Like,
OB.
My little ass would go to OB skate park when I was in middle school before school. So I'd get on the trolley as soon as they, like, started running the trolley. And I'd start at 9 in the morning at school, but I'd be at OB at 6 a.m., show them the skate park, and then I'd go to school. After school, I'd get back on the trolley and go back down there. So I was at OB all the fucking time, and Memorial Skate Park in Logan. Like, it was just...
I just remember they go get us Little Caesars, and they were just like the sick. I was like, no way, bro. Like, these guys would show back up with like 4 pizzas for all of us, and like we were groms, dude.
That's sick.
It was so dope.
And like they were good people too. Like they taught me how to fucking weld. Thinking about it, Chris Sanders was the first dude that he taught me how to build my first motor. He would come to my house and fucking he was like, all right, we're gonna take it to Kenyon's machine shop. We dropped it off there.
Is that place still around?
I think they're still there, but different owners.
Gotcha.
So like I think he used to work there when he was like a grom back in the day. So he was like, oh, I've known them for years, you know. And he taught me how to build my first motor, and to this day I still talk to him. Like, super thankful. He gave me his knowledge on how to build a motor, and that's what started me like, oh, I'm gonna be a mechanic now. And then I got into that, and then I started wanting to weld shit, and then Stevie taught me how to weld, and I was like, all right, like, what else can I do? Still don't do electrical because I suck at that. But
I've only ever seen you nervous and like, I don't want to say scared because I don't want to speak for you, but I just remember how like deep our conversations got when you were working at that shop full time, and like it just was getting slower and slower and slower. But you had like a car or two at your mom's house, and you're like, this is what I want to do. But I just remember how nervous you were, and I remember that like really striking me because I'd never really seen you nervous. Like since we were teenagers, bro, you've always just like been, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it was just like being a mechanic was my first and only job. Like I never worked anywhere.
You knew nothing else, just cars.
I worked at a pizza shop as I was working as a mechanic too, just for extra money when I got into some trouble. But
What kind of trouble?
you know, just stupid shit we do as
He
teenagers.
used to use his hands.
Yeah.
Gang shit.
Gabe throws hands.
I'll put it out there, dude. Gabe's older brothers are no joke.
Oh, so it's sticking up for yourself.
No, they were no joke. They like, you didn't mess with Gabe's older brothers, so he grew up around like fight or flight, you know.
Yeah.
Gabe was a scrapper. Like when we were younger, bro. Like he was very quiet, had just style like you'd never believe. You know,
Another
like
reason why I was at the skate park so much was because I was suspended. Like as soon as I got back to school, I'd get into another fight, and I was suspended.
Back to the skate park.
Yeah, I was like, I know I'm going to the skate park, so fuck it.
he's one of those kids you'd watch ride a BMX bike, and it was like kind of like mesmerizing, you know. Like,
yeah.
He would ride the most unsmooth stuff, but it was just still smooth.
Made it look good still.
It was weird. Your little 1-footed Euros.
Yeah,
My favorite.
Well, Tinkerfoots.
Tinkerfoots.
No, that's cool.
Gangster. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast, bro. It was
Thanks
sick.
for having me.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Always a good time.
What's
chatting
your
with you
Instagram handle?
Just at Gabe Franco.
Yeah.
Super simple.
Sick. Go check his page out, especially if you're a stunt rider and you want to get into the scene. He has some cool stuff on there. I was on there the other day when we were putting the intro together.
Yeah, I was thinking about like when I was looking through photos, I was like, the first time I met you was when we did the shoot with Cole over at 905.
When you were doing that
Team.
the drift?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
fun
sick
day.
video.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever met him.
Who jumped the dirt bike?
That was
Cole and Dan.
Fully missed the down ramp.
Dan.
Video. I was just like, whoa.
That was like
wheel.
that was the main
blow.
comment on the post. It was like, yo, the second
He
guy.
sent it to me. I'm like, what happened to the guy on the dirt bike? He missed that down ramp.
That's
that
Dan
hurt. That
from-
hurt.
What about the dude?
Dan from
Ripper Ranch.
Yeah, sick.
What about the dude that didn't get filmed that cased it?
What?
Oh my.
Case that down.
Straight frame case.
It's a full wooden down ramp. It's in the
was
intro
that?
video.
It was a random kid that was there doing wheelies.
Yeah.
I know,
What he
I
said,
know.
fuck it,
Like
I'm
the
hitting it.
Secret Brothers.
And we were like, no.
No, Bo, no.
It was a bad case.
We need to do more stuff like that. That was
Yeah,
a fun
let's bring
day.
that back.
Yeah, that was cool. That was
That last Claymore thing you did was sick, where you were drifting behind the boys wheeling.
That was
yeah, that was
dope.
good.
Need to do more shit like
We
that.
will, with all due time. You know, we're all
Yep.
really busy, just like forming.
I'm
you
not
know,
busy.
future for ourselves and shit. So figured out. Yeah, no shit, dude.
Here's the time.
First time you showed up before 8 a.m. in a while.
Typical beach bum.
Sick. Well, thank you very much. Yeah. We'll
Before
probably have you on
before
again.
we end it, I want to just make sure we publicly say how thankful we are for everything you do for Senders Only. You tag us in all your posts. You have
Yeah.
our fucking sticker on your truck, and
Very inspiring.
Yeah, I want to make sure you know how thankful we are, and you know it's Friday at 7 a.m. and you're at our shop to come talk some shit with us on microphones. And thankful for Jake for everything he's putting together. Foley, you're all right. But you know, just very thankful for everything you do for us, dude. I know if I ever need something, I can call you, and we're thankful.
Always.
And if you want to buy some Harley parts, sendersonlybrand.com.
Yep.
Help support us.
Like,
Always, dude.
All right, sick. Thank you.
oh,